is somebody I feel has these answers and is important because she has these answers. Wealthy Life, I think, is a brand that is essential to where we're headed in Washington, D.C. as being a hub of African-American creativity and economic sustainability. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce the one and only Miss Angel Rich.
Give me 1 second. I was just setting up Instagram Live. Okay.
It's all good.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Pleasure. How are you?
Good to finally meet you. So thank you, Angel, for joining us. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a few months, so we finally.
Oh, really?
Yes, we have. I've actually talked to a few of your people to make this happen over the months.
We are legitimately busy. I had no idea.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So real quick, I just want to just jump right into it. Oh, by the way, just like to let everybody know that there's a
That I'm
guest.
from Kingman Park, and this my neighborhood that we sitting in. Welcome, everybody.
Down the street, from right down the street, right down the street. So, strive for open, honest dialogue. If you feel the need to curse, you can. I normally don't say that on air, but, you know, working on some different circumstances today. So, first question. What's the flyest thing you've ever done? I didn't mean to give you the stumper right out the gate.
It's pretty hard to stump me, too. The flyest thing I've ever done. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Okay, we want the truth. Keep it all the way real with us.
Y'all not gonna understand what I'm saying, but this was fly to me in a moment for me. Okay, there was a girl that works for my sister, and she had never been inside of a luxury brand store, and so I was like, oh, well, you messing with the right one today, and so I took her to Gucci. And so I ended up like going on a shopping spree with Gucci, and kind of like I had them bring us out champagne and like just have the whole experience of what it's like to go on a shopping experience. And the fact that we was just walking down the street that particular day. My sister had an event or something. For some reason, I was with all of my sister's employees that day. My sister owns a nail salon.
I was gonna say, tell people what your sister does.
Yes, my sister owns a nail salon. She's a celebrity nail tech. Shout out to Snob Nails. She owns it in Iverson Mall. They're rebuilding that mall, and she went ahead and put her store there. And so I was just with her employees that day, and that was really dope to me that just like at a drop of a hat, I could go in Gucci and just like splurge if I wanted to. I ended up buying like 2 scarves, some shoes, and like some other, I don't even know what else I bought, you know, and I done lost one of the scarves since I bought it. It's crazy. And don't buy expensive stuff. But that was kind of fly to me. And then after that, we was just walking past the Tesla dealership, and I just walked in and copped a Tesla. And so, like, they actually just sent me a text. I was supposed to get to it today, but I didn't have enough time. And that's how much time I don't have. I didn't go pick up my Tesla today. And so,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go tomorrow because they told me that it's ready. I got to just finish, like, some final paperwork. I got a customized Tesla. It's a $190,000 car. I got the P100 one. That's the equivalent of the Lamborghini. And I just randomly did both of those things just walking down the street because it was a Tesla dealership there and a Gucci. Yeah, City Center. Literally, I was just walking down the street.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to show you how to stunt today. And then I did. So, and she was like, it changed her life. She's from Ellicott City. She was like,
Okay.
that day changed her life. She's now
And that's
trying
a
to move
whole
to
other
DC.
world, Ellicott City.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I like it. All right. So that wasn't too hard of a question after all.
It was hard because I actually haven't even told anybody I did that. Only close friends know that I just copped a Tesla. Because I
Okay.
said, that's when the haters come out.
Yeah.
I just told my bank teller while I was depositing a check just now, and this Negro started talking to me about my retirement fund and how much the car cost. I'm like, I spent how much the car cost already this year. Like, what are you talking about, bruh? Why are you being a hater right now? Like,
So that leads me to my next question. You know, I want to talk a little bit. Well, not even a question, but a topic. I want to talk a little bit about just, you know, there's always talk about the black buying power. You know, and what those figures are, what that number looks like. You just went and stunted on people in Gucci and Tesla. You know what I mean. And I want to know just also as a caveat to that, we're also known, black people are known as being, you know, trendsetters. However, I want to know what's it going to take to get that trend setting to happen among our own businesses? Because I was
actually thinking about that while I was in the bathroom just now.
We're so creative, and we're able to also make other people's, other races of people's products trend and things like that. But when it comes to our own stuff, you know, sometimes it seems a little more difficult to get that trend going.
Once again, brother, I'm about to tell you the truth.
Okay.
You bringing the truth out of me today.
Good.
Not that I don't always tell the truth, but since I'm in my hood and you gave me the permission to be real, I'm gonna just keep it extra real with y'all today. We don't look out for each other the way that we should. I'm 4th generation 8th Street.
Down
when
to the
this
strip.
building was
Down
built,
to the strip.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my family is some of the first black homeowners in the country. My family are the first homeowners on this very street when the street was built, you know? And so I'm gonna just give you an example. When they was building Alibaba Rising, I was one of the first entrepreneurs that they contacted.
Okay.
They didn't even feel as though it would be proper to have an incubator without having Angel Rich in it.
Right.
And they also gave me half off on my rent and a bunch of other perks that I could name. They gave me like $15,000 in Amazon credit, ton of stuff that Alibaba Rising has given me. I love Alibaba Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they started constructing the building, they called me and wooed me for 6 months to get me to come over there.
Okay.
I just found out that this building exists today. I actually even went to the Chinatown location, and that's the reason I'm late.
Yeah, so when I got
I'm
the
trying
text
to
from your assistant.
Right.
I was like, I know I said Northeast.
Yeah. So me and another young lady that's in here, we were both sitting, and she came up to me as I was getting out the car. She was like, you know your event not here, right? I was like, what you talking about, girl? So my question is, if you have one of the top entrepreneurs in the world from this neighborhood, why wasn't I contacted about this incubator? And so I feel like we're not properly supporting each other the way that we should and utilizing our resources. I should have a free office in this building. You know, I would make this the #1 incubator in DC. This is my hood.
I believe that.
I definitely would. I would make it my mission to make this the #1 incubator in DC, possibly the region.
What's the first thing you would do?
You don't want to know.
I do want to know. I don't ask questions I don't want the answers to.
The first thing I would do is interview every single member that's in here for an hour. And I have a 7-question process that I do whenever I'm trying to kick something off for the first time. Okay. I don't care how much research or how many resources you have. I have 7 questions that I sit down and I ask everybody in the organization. And those 7 questions, it starts with, in an ideal world, what would WeWork look like to you? And that's the first question.
Okay.
And then it goes all the way down to, if you had a magic wand and you could change anything in WeWork to satisfy your needs, what would that be? And between question 1 and question 7, I ascertained what the vision of WeWork should look like. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I compiled that into a qualitative assessment, and I analyzed, okay, 5 people said vision. For some reason at Prudential back in the day when I did this, the hot word in finance was sexy. Like 70 people I interviewed said sexy. Okay. So they wanted to create like a mission statement around the word sexy. You know what I'm saying? And so stuff like that. And so, okay, everybody says pride. So the mission of this WeWork needs to be pride or something like that. Then we go into a online survey. Now I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. What color? What type of paper do you want? What are the resources that you need? What are you missing? All of those different type of things. Then I'm going to take that, synthesize it down into some actual statistics and facts, and then I'm going to put that into a focus group. I'm going to divide people into 5 to 7 groups, meet with everybody individually, run the results past everybody, see if everybody agrees. What everybody agrees to, we then create an implementation plan, move forward, and then we become the #1 incubator in DC.
That's why you make the big bucks. So real quick, so everybody can get in on the conversation right from their phones. We use interactive Q&A here. So if you go to slido.com, that's SLIDO.com, and you enter in the code 2383. I don't know if you got to add the hashtag ahead of it, but if so, it's hashtag 2383. Again, that's Slido, SLIDO.com. The code is hashtag 2383. Submit your questions there, and we'll just add them to the conversation. All right, so thinking about that. So you have a book, History of the Black Dollar.
Yes.
which is an amazing, incredible book, which is
Already
here for
got
sale.
the first book sale as soon as I walked in. Shout out to the brother in the corner.
After the show, y'all be able to just head over there to the little lounge area and purchase your own book. I'm sure you'll be autographing them and all of that.
Of course, of course.
Okay, so you have a book, History of the Black Dollar, which contains a wealth of information about just iconic black historical figures, both nationally known, locally known. You can include a lot of great information about DC. Just knowing that history, because I know you grew up in a family that was entrepreneurial. Your people, they were in the insurance business, and also I remember one of the interviews that I listened to during my research. Your grandparents, your great grandparents, were adamant about no matter how long it took to travel around DC,
yes, especially this very street right here,
to find whatever black businesses they could find to buy their goods and services and things like that. Do you think that if we had more of a knowledge of that history, we'd be more adamant to, again, support the black businesses that, are doing great work, creating great products, really, really, doing some innovative things, and make those businesses trend?
Yes, and in a very interesting way, I think that other communities would care even more as well. And I'm going to keep it extra real right now and say, as a result of other communities caring more, we will then care more. Mm-hmm. Because for some reason, we don't care about ourselves until other people care about us.
That's very true. That's very,
and
very
I've
true.
never said that out loud, but you just caught that on camera. And so
I'm glad I said, I strive for open, honest dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, please believe. You tell Angel Rich to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real.
Keep it real. Okay.
Give me the green light. Okay.
That's also what it means when you have your own business.
Oh, yeah, because I don't work for nobody. I just report to God. As long as God is cool with what I'm saying, I'm good at the end of the night.
Yeah, that spiritual center is very important.
And so to take it a step further, the reason I wrote the book is because there's currently no book across America that explains the full black history of our culture. And if there is a book that has black history, it conveniently neglects our economic history. Raise your hand if you knew that Booker T. Washington wrote a book called Negroes in Business. So that's 4 people. Now raise your hand if you know that Booker T. Washington wrote a book called Up from Slavery. Wow, I would have thought that everybody knew that last one, but okay, all righty. And so, but interestingly, everybody should know about Up from Slavery, and everybody should know about Negroes in Business. Now raise your hand if you heard of the Diary of Anne Frank. Every hand goes up, right? That wasn't even our country. So why does everybody across America read about this little girl named Anne Frank that wasn't even in our country, and we have sympathy for the Jews and for the Holocaust across the country? There's a museum dedicated to the Holocaust in every single city across the country. But we just got the first National African American Museum. And so my argument is, and it's actually no longer even an argument, because the state of Illinois actually did a research study on this. Because a friend of mine went to the state of Illinois and requested for my book to be included in the library. At first, they was kicking and screaming. They didn't want to do it. She was like, oh, okay, I'm going to come into the library. So they then had an executive meeting and conducted a national research study. Mm-hmm. And they found that there was no other book in the country written like my book.
Wow.
And if there was, it wasn't written in the last 10 years, and it wasn't written by a black person. So there is literally no book that is as comprehensive as the one that we have, that goes from the beginning of slavery to present day, including the economic contributions and what we've done for this society, including the historic leaders, the known ones and the unknown ones, and being able to really put that into historic context. And so I argue, how can we be on the same page in terms of our history if we're not all reading the same history book?
And I'm going to add a book to that. How many people, raise your hand if you've ever heard of a book called Germany's Black Holocaust, 1890 to 1945.
Yeah, I've heard.
So that's another book. So when you mentioned the Diary of Anne Frank, I thought about that because I found out about that book as an adult. I was 21, and I was in a bookstore that's now closed in Harlem. I saw a poster on the wall, and I said, "Wait, what? This was a thing? We were a part of that?" So just even finding that out as an adult, kind of, it took me aback. You know what I mean? Yeah. It definitely did. Okay, so let's move forward a little bit into just the tech stuff. So you've been able to just immerse yourself in tech. You have a marketing background.
You really understand me for real.
I'm not new to this.
I was just joking with my boyfriend this morning. I was like, I can't wait to tell people that I'm not a technologist. But it's interesting because, yes, my background is in marketing. And I was joking with him today, and I was like, people got degrees in this. And I kind of just went, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. And he was like, that's the soundtrack, Angel. I was like, yep, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. And I was like, I reverse engineered Google in 6 hours. We was just joking about that this morning.
Yeah.
It took me 6 hours.
6 hours.
6 hours. It wasn't that hard.
That has to be attributed to something innate, though. I don't know if that's something necessarily
I've
learned.
been trying to figure it out myself, and I boiled it down to 2 things that I can think of. And I'm going to say them in reverse. So the first sign that I was really good at statistics, because it has to come from my statistics brain, is I was really scared of statistics. I thought I was going to be terrible at statistics because I'm actually, frankly, really bad at math. I'm terrible with math. And so I waited until my senior year to take statistics because I was so afraid. But I ended up being naturally good at it. I got an A+ on it. I actually ended up knowing more than the teacher and studying the book. I would reteach the class after class, and people would skip her class and come to my class to pass her test. Like, I was really freaking good at statistics. And so when I think about that, like, okay, but where did that come from? You don't just wake up and be good at statistics. And what I have to boil it down to is the lottery. My grandmother was really good at the lottery, and she used to keep track of all the lottery numbers in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
I think that's just the older person thing. I think
No,
older
let me
people
finish.
just.
She used to keep track of all the numbers, and then my grandmother would develop algorithms for the lottery.
Oh, okay.
And she would come up with these different systems of when the number came out versus this. She would even do the weather, all Christmas time. She had all type of different reasons and variables. And as a result of that, I learned how to compile algorithms.
Okay.
And so when I think back on it, that has to be where my thinking comes from, because otherwise I've had no training whatsoever in developing algorithms. And so either it's between just God just gifting me with it or my grandmother in the lottery.
So with that said, with you not having a direct background in tech, but just in your observations and in your business, what's the best non-traditional use of tech that you've seen so far? You know,
The most non-traditional.
the best non-traditional use.
You mean like taking tech and using it for something else?
Yes.
Huh.
So like Amazon or Uber, you know,
Actually,
going that route.
Actually, what I think it is coming up with a cure for AIDS. I don't know if you're familiar with that story.
No, elaborate on that.
So about 10 years ago, it's got to be about 10 years ago now, because it was 4 years before I started my company. It was like 3 or 4 years before I started my company. That's how that was one of the reasons I validated the idea for financial literacy in games, because I believe it was the military was trying to come up with a cure for AIDS, and they could not figure it out. And it was a certain strand of AIDS, this particular strand of AIDS. And so they built this video game around it. And they put it in a video game, and then they put it online. And this was like when mobile games was first like really getting started, you know. And they found a cure to this AIDS strand that they had been working on for 25 years in 12 hours. And after that, and that is the impetus behind the very early on research of gamification that came out of Wharton in 2012. That was the very first project that proved that you could simulate life and fix problems in games.
Explain never mind. I was going to say explain gamification.
Gamification basically means to simulate life of something in a game, to simulate something in a game, basically. The verb is almost like gamify, but you're not supposed to use a word to describe a word. But basically, like just making a game out of something. So if you are learning how to, and it doesn't necessarily have to be educational. That's educational gamification. But like Minecraft, or Call of Duty. Let's just say Call of Duty. Let's just use that as an example.
I was going to say Fortnite.
Yes. I'm not gonna get into it. But let's say Call of Duty, right? Because Call of Duty and those military games. So the military started this. So let's go through, the little history of the gamification. We got them coming out with AIDS. Then after they come out with the cure for AIDS, they say, what's the best way we could apply this to America? They say, we need to train soldiers better. So they came out with Call of Duty and all of the military games so that and it actually worked. They now have soldiers that enter the military at a much more sophisticated level and being able to shoot better because they grow up playing these military games. So they understand the tactics and all of those different type of things better. So they gamified the military experience. So I said, instead of gamifying the military experience and AIDS, why not apply that to financial literacy? Because if we had financial literacy, we wouldn't have all the other problems and people being poor and the fighting, and it would eliminate a lot of the problems that we had if people just had more money and more equality.
Got it. So somebody said, adore your unapologetic spirit, keep going. Whoever that was, thank you. We got somebody who is not anonymous. Whoever at 12 Creations is. They ask, do you think it's smarter for successful black business owners to invest into other or new black businesses or just give them startup money? And I picked this question because I know, well, I'm sure that's not the case now because everybody knows about you now, but when you were on the Breakfast Club, you were talking about that, you and Charlamagne were talking about how, you got Puff, you got Jay, they're starting these venture capitalist firms, but they're trying to reinvent the wheel versus necessarily looking at people like yourself who have been doing the work, but again, I'm sure you're on their radar now since that interview, but that's why I wanted to ask this question first. You need me to ask it again?
That's kind of difficult. I technically may or may not be in talks with those people, and I technically may or may not feel like they need to stop dragging their feet, but basically, I feel like we need to support each other at a much better and faster pace. There was an article that just came out by my girl Bari A. Williams. She's a fantastic writer, and she was talking about the fact that there are black VCs, but are they doing anything different from the counterparts? And the line said, so far, the results say no. I don't know if anybody's seen that article. Yeah, and so
Marcus is a writer.
Okay, that's what's up. Yes, yeah. And so, and it's sad, and I know all of them. I know every single black VC, and I've met most of them in person.
About how many are there?
About 30.
30? Okay.
And so, it's very cliquish. It's very groupthink. And like I said, for some reason, they wait for the white man to move first. And it's like, what's the point of being a black VC? I don't get it. But I don't get a lot of things. I don't get why there's so many black billionaires and there's still people in poverty. Like, I don't get a lot of things. Apparently, I missed a lot of memos. I don't know. But I feel like there should be a lot greater support. This girl posted recently on my page. She was just supporting me. Like, oh, they should be funding you. I'm just trying to get $1,000 out here in these streets. And I was like, girl, send me your business proposal. I spend $1,000 a day. So it's like, I'm trying to figure out, and so she sent it over to me. I'm actually looking at it right now. She's watching. I'm looking at your proposal. And so, but what we have to do is, I'm not going to just give her $1,000. I want to help her. So,
right.
And it kind of goes to your question. No, I don't think people should just give people money. Now, if you're down on your luck and you're doing well, and somebody see you doing well, don't stress me out. Just give me the money. You know what I'm saying? Don't do all that.
Yeah. Don't
take this opportunity to poke your chest out. Because what people don't realize, and this is what I really want to get across in my new book, 27 Laws of Rich, that's actually short-term thinking. If I see you, and the number one way to tell if somebody you should stick with them and invest in them is if they're persistent. They could be crazy. But do you see them saying the same message every single week? That's the person that is going to figure it out.
Steve Jobs.
Exactly. They might not have figured it out right now, but they gonna figure it out. That's the person to stick with, okay? Now, the person that's just kind of flighty and this, that, and the third, or even arrogant or whatever, that might not be the person you want to go with. But I stick with people that's either extremely humble, and I'm gonna mess with you as long as you humble, or you something off about you, but dang, you persistent. And so those two things are the keys for me to go ahead and invest in somebody. But we need to also provide advice and resources, and most importantly, connections. Help open up doors for different people. Oftentimes, I was at BET, and I had been invited to like some celebrity house, and it was like two celebrities walking down the street, and I just leaned over and was like, "Hey, y'all coming from so and so?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Was it parking over there?" And they was like, "Oh, maybe. I don't know. You gotta go check it out for yourself." And I didn't even recognize these fools. I was like, y'all don't even know who y'all talking to. And so it's like, and not that I'm whatever, but my point of bringing that up.
You might be doing better than them.
I know I'm doing better than them, but that's
Y'all
not
heard
my
that?
point. But that's not my point.
Nah, I know.
My point is we're so quick to close a door on one another. I've had so many people reach out to me and be like, "Oh, I didn't know you was a member of City Club." Well, why you didn't invite me to City Club? Why
Right.
you didn't try to get me to be a member of City Club?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we be so quick to be in our little closets and our little silos and be like, "Oh, you can't come in this room." You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to figure out how to help each other get in those rooms.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me.
So that takes me to my next point, networking versus working. You know, just understanding the economic importance of both actions and having a good balance of the two. You know, I know people always talking about, you know, we out here working, we doing this, we doing that. But again, even how you said, people aren't even extending an invite, or, you know, and you're someone who should be in a room. You know, not just extended invites just for the sake of extended invites, but you're someone who's in the room who could be of mutual benefit to them and their situation and whoever else they're working with, and vice versa. You know, I think when it even comes to networking, that's something that I'm really good at, you know, and I'll go out. My motto is, if they don't have a bodyguard, I'm going to go talk to anybody. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if they have
I don't care if they got a bodyguard.
well, I was gonna say, if they
Messing with me.
if they had a bodyguard,
I don't care about your bodyguard.
I've kind of figured out a way to make that happen too. But definitely, if they don't have a bodyguard, I'm talking.
I got past Oprah's bodyguard. And guess who pushed him to the side?
Who?
Oprah.
Word.
That's how you do that.
Word. Okay.
I don't, what? In that morning, my friend said to me, she said, "Angel, you know it's going to be 10,000 people trying to get to Oprah. I just want you to set your expectations." I said, "I need you to set your expectations. Do you know who I am? Did you not see what I did yesterday? Because I got to Brian O'Shea the day before to create a Dear White People."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, I saw how you got to Brian." I said, "Watch me work, honey. You think I'm not about to get to Oprah today?
And you made it happen.
What?
Just setting that intention.
What?"
But again, even with networking, you know, a lot of people just aren't that good at it.
You have to be confident and you have to be persistent. See, you know, I went to Largo High School for 9th grade.
Okay.
Okay? And at Largo High School, you can't just walk down the hallway.
No.
You better throw them bows if you trying to get to class. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no sweet situation. This ain't no okay. So like, I'm the best in a crowd. At a concert, I'm getting to the front.
Yeah.
Okay? So, because I literally had to get to class like that. Okay? So it's like, you have to be persistent. If for some reason people be like, "Oh, they're in front of me. Oh, let me not. Oh, it's a blockade." Like, what? I'm climbing through. I'm hopping over. I'm chipping through. Everything is unbreakable.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything is unbreakable.
But you still got to
It's
do.
breakable.
You still got to have done the work or do the work to go along with that networking.
Now, to put my more serious hat on,
Okay.
that is something that is called PI. Raise your hand if you're familiar with PI. Performance, image, not apple pie. Okay. Performance, image, and exposure. That basically means that 10% of what you do to get in the door is your performance. Like, your performance is just to get you in the door. That's it. Okay? Then there's another 40%, 30% that is dedicated to your image. Okay? So that's how you present yourself. That's how people see you. All of those great different type of things. And then the remaining 60% is your exposure. So it's how you get in the room, who you get introduced to, all of these various different type of things. So oftentimes people just focus on their performance, like, "Oh, I'm the best, I'm performing, I'm outperforming everybody, this, that, and the third." But you're coming into work in a t-shirt and you're not going to any of the company picnics. So you're really only scoring like 10% of the entire 100% pie that you be getting. And I made that mistake. And that's how I learned this so much, because I don't know how many people know I've lost 100 pounds. I used to have short hair, crooked teeth, all these different type of things. I was just joking with somebody with it from college at the city club. And so I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't care about dressing up, and I didn't care about making friends with people. In fact, I was super antisocial.
Mm-hmm.
And so just different people pulling me to the side, and this lady named Juna Mori, who was the chief marketing officer, she really took me under her wing, and she explained this concept of pie to me.
Okay.
And after that, I started shopping at Ann Taylor and was like, let me go get some cute outfits, and started trying to put my outfits together, started going to every company meeting. I was like, every single employee in this building gonna know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And within a year, I made that happen. Every single employee in the building knew who I was within a year after I made that goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another audience question. You kind of touched on this a little earlier, but I'll ask it anyway. What steps did you take to create a circle with an elevated mindset? Isolation, YouTube, and CNBC is great, but there's nothing like human connection. Any advice?
So I forgot who says this, but some famous person says, if you want to get richer, simply replace 2 rich friends with every broke friend that you have.
Say that one more time.
If you want to get richer, replace 1 broke friend with 2 rich friends.
1 broke friend with 2 rich friends.
Everybody following me? I literally started doing that. It was that simple.
Just
I
that
literally
simple.
started, and I heard from somebody else that said, oh, you know, people say you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, some
So
of your 5 closest friends, all of that.
So I combined the 2 of those together, and I really started thinking about my 5 closest friends. Now, once again, I'm from down the street. So I had a lot of hood friends. And I was like, Angel, where are we going with this? And I remember I got in an argument with one of them at the top of 21st. Okay. 21st and Benning.
I was about to say, which
They
side of
rolled up
21st?
on me at the, well, I'm from the bottom side.
Okay.
But we was in the middle. We was at the
Okay.
liquor store.
Okay. No,
Okay?
I'm
was
hip.
coming out the liquor
I'm
store.
already hip. I ain't
And
going
they
to tell you
caught me
how I'm
coming
hip,
out
but
the
I'm
liquor
hip.
store. And they tried to get me to come around the community. And 2 weeks before that, I got named the next Steve Jobs. And it was a bunch of foolishness. Somebody had just threw a brick through my window because they was jealous, all type of stuff, right? I didn't even do nothing to nobody. Like, I got the cleanest of hands, going all the way back to kindergarten, okay? Like, I'm serious, like, for real, because I always knew I was going to be rich and famous, so I was always nice to everybody since kindergarten, because I didn't want nobody to ever be able to come out and, like, do a 60-minute special on me
You
or
ain't
something.
you ain't never scrapped.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
but they wouldn't want to tell those
Ain't no
stories.
blood on your hands, though. ain't no blood on your hands. Got
I'm gonna
you.
shut my mouth on that one.
All right.
And so, but my point is, I literally remember this day because I ended up cursing them out, and I said, you know what? Y'all can take my hood card and shred it. I was like, I've crossed over to the other side. I was just in Forbes Magazine. I don't need this foolishness. I gotta move on with my life. And that day was very powerful for me because if you ask everybody that knows me, I was always like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna keep it real to the end. And I still keep it real, but I just was so adamant about staying in the hood and staying around my friends and doing all of those type of things. And then more and more that I would go around them, every time I go around them, they would just ask me for money. And I would have to buy all the liquor, buy all the food, buy all their kids stuff. I even supplied 4th of July for the whole freaking neighborhood. Okay, the whole neighborhood. Okay, and food and everything.
It was probably lit.
It was lit though. It was lit. It was lit. It was lit. And so, but I just realized that I was spending money, and yeah, you know, I was doing it for my hood, but this is a 5-block radius.
Right.
Where is this going?
Yeah.
And so I just really had to start cutting people off. I was also big about not really being around bougie people because I can't stand bougie people. It took me until I was an adult before I even went to Northwest. Because I still to this day I don't really like Northwest.
You one of them?
That.
You one of them?
Yeah, I'm from 21st for real. You know what I'm saying? I'm from 21st and E. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't fooling with Uptown?
E Street. You know what I'm saying? So it's like but I had to, so now I actually probably have way more bougie friends than hood friends. I really don't have that many hood friends anymore. You really my friend if you from the hood and I still mess with you. You know, we came up in the sandbox together or something like that, you know?
Okay.
And I think that that's important. And I'm spending so much time talking about this because especially in this neighborhood, I think that people hold on to that so much. And that is one of the biggest things that I had to let go of. And especially ladies, I was holding on to a bad relationship. I broke up with this dude on April 26th On May 3rd, I got named the next Steve Jobs and ain't looked back. So it's like sometimes we stay in circumstances and stay around people, and it literally is the people that are holding us back. And if we simply replace those people with better people, our entire circumstance would change, because those are now the doors that are being opened by those different people. And the other doors are just opened in the liquor stores.
Now that's some real shit. Real live. I want to go back to talking about tech and, well, non-traditional uses of tech, or tech and non-traditional tech businesses, however you're gonna word that. So funding for non-tech businesses, you know I've heard many conversations from people just wondering like, well, I don't have a tech business and they're giving all this funding and this, that, and the third. But then I look at somebody, say like Nipsey Hussle. He just opened up the Marathon clothing store last year. It's the world's first smart store. He included that in his concept in a very culturally relevant way, something that is appealing to his fan base, to anybody just coming through, or what have you. I'm guessing that's the only way that these non-tech businesses, quote unquote, would be able to even secure funding if they were to include some kind of component like that into their concept.
Well, shout out to Nipsey Hussle and Karen Civil with the Marathon store. I met Karen earlier at the BET Awards. Nipsey is definitely on my top 3 list at this point of people I want to meet this year. Mm-hmm. He was on my top 10, but I've met like half of them now.
Okay.
So
have you met your number 1 yet?
You say what?
Have you met your number 1 yet?
No.
Okay. Who's your number 1?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. That's a good one.
I have a lady that's working on it though that says that this could happen in the next year. So shout out to Richard Branson. Okay. I don't know. I think that I had a conversation with a girl yesterday, and she makes dolls. And she makes dolls to teach people about healthy eating. And so she was asking me if she should change it into an education technology platform. And I was so glad that she asked me, because I've actually been wanting to tell her that for years. Because while dolls are great, and I love dolls, but if you follow the money, it's not as much money in dolls. Right. And so what I actually suggested to her was, and what I think people should think about, is how to be able to build your brand with some type of technology, just to be able to go with the freaking flow, because you have to play the game to win the game. So just build it with some type of technology and then come out with the doll. Right. So if she's known for like this education technology stuff, I told her, like connect with PBS and, some things that we talked about. And so basically she does that, maybe even turn it into a cartoon, and then you come out with the doll. Then it's like, oh my God, the tech company came out with a doll. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you come out with the doll and then you're trying to sell the doll and then you're trying to sell the tech company,
you just made it a million times harder for you.
Exactly. And so what I have learned over the years, because I can be stubborn sometimes, I've learned sometimes it's not about your intelligence. It's about perception. Okay. And while it sucks, and it may be different from what reality is, perception rules. And I can go into plenty of stories about that, but just trust me. Perception rules. And especially as I get higher and higher up, and I'm like kicking it with these celebrities and stuff like that, ain't nothing about what it actually is. It's all about how it looks. And you almost wasting your time to even make it for real. When you first get, I ain't even gonna go into all of that, but basically perception really matters. Like really focus on how your company looks, how you look, how you're presenting yourself. You can get so far just off of perception. Somebody that is perceived differently, that doesn't have anything, but versus somebody that has a lot but isn't focused on their perception, this person is going to win every single time. And it's sad, but that is the truth. And especially in this day and age that we live in of social media,
doing it for the gram.
Exasperated.
But a lot of people have really been able to make it happen because of Instagram.
Oh, bro, I can tell you. I know so much stuff about people now.
All right, we'll talk about that off air.
I keep my mouth shut.
All right, boom.
I ain't Tiffany Haddish.
All right, another audience question. Actually, I'm gonna burn through these because I want to get to a random aside segment, which you're gonna like. All right. What advice would you give to someone still looking to find their purpose in life, and how would they go about generating money with that greater cause?
Oh, that's easy. People make that way too complicated. What would you wake up and do every day for free? You had $1 million. You had your house. You had kids. You had everything you wanted in life. And you couldn't ask for nothing. Now you're sitting around bored. What would you wake up and do for free? Whatever the answer to that question is, that's what you need to go build a business around. And if your answer is, let's say your answer is you want to be a rapper, you need to figure out how to own a music business. Not focus on being a rapper. Go own a music business. For instance, my sister really liked nails. She ended up coming up with a nail school and a nail company. You know, she's a nail professor, all this stuff she does with nails.
So
man.
she's getting money from
She
three different ways.
about to come out with a nail kit. Watch out, Kylie Jenner. London Wall coming for you.
So she's getting it 4 ways.
Yeah.
So she got the nail salon, the school. What else?
She does nails.
Right.
Then she has a nail salon.
Yes.
And she has a nail school.
Mhm.
And she recently invented a nail kit.
Boom. So 4 different streams of income.
Yep.
Just under the
I
whole
didn't even think that. All right. London.
cosmetic industry.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's what's up.
Okay. Next
Yeah.
question.
All because she like nails.
Next question. For someone looking to go the entrepreneur route but feeling afraid to take the leap, what advice would you give?
You need to decide whether or not you really want to be an entrepreneur. Some people are inventors. And some people are managers. But not necessarily an entrepreneur. And it was I forgot which speech I was giving, and I'm going to paraphrase, but basically, like, it is something that you have to really be passionate about, and you have to be willing to really fight for it all the way down to the end. It has to be something that you are almost willing to die for.
Mhm.
I've gotten to the point where I was literally walking down this street, picking up pennies off the ground. I've literally gone up to a crackhead and asked him for change before. This is a true story on freaking Minnesota and Pennsylvania. True story. And he reached in his pocket and gave me a handful of pennies. A crackhead gave me all the money he had in his pocket. If you're not willing to do that, you're not an entrepreneur.
What are some books you would recommend to those trying to become entrepreneurs?
Well, History of the Black Dollar. Because if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. I would also recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's another good one.
How to Win Friends and Influence People. The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. The Power of Positive Thinking. The Richest Man in Babylon. 48 Laws of Power. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The Richest Man Next Door. The Richest Man Next Door. That's what it's called? Yeah. Millionaire Next Door. Thank you. And what's the other one? The Devil. The Devil is Blind. The Devil. Anybody know what I'm talking about? By Napoleon Hill. The Devil. You know what I'm talking about, though? The devil was trying to beat me. The devil was cheating me.
It's by Napoleon Hill, though.
Yeah. Put in The Devil and Napoleon Hill. Okay? It's not a devilish. How to Beat the Devil? Outwitting the Devil. There we go. Thank you.
All right.
And Outwitting the Devil.
Okay, here's a good one. Given the political climate and racial tension.
And Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Given the political climate and racial tension, should we look to build economic security outside of this country in the spirit of Marcus Garvey?
That is the thing that is frustrating me the most. I'm actually dating a Liberian right now. Today is Liberia Independence Day. And and as part of my initiation process that I'm going through right now, I just watched 8 hours of Liberian documentaries.
Okay.
About 3 days ago.
You got to do the deep dives, you know?
Apparently. And so...
You got to have those cultural competencies, you know?
I suppose. and so I basically feel as though, how am I trying to say this? It's not just a matter of us connecting with our international counterparts. It's also a matter of our international counterparts connecting with us. And what I find, and especially in my work with the United Nations, sadly, the entire world is in disarray across the African diaspora.
Yes.
And so I'm working on a website right now, Black Tech Matters, but we're building a website around it, blacktechmatters.org.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to organize the African diaspora on this website, because my opinion is across, we don't really have a united front
No, we don't.
You know, like China is the leader of Asia. India is the leader of the Middle East. You know, England is the leader of Europe. We could argue that Nigeria is the leader of Africa, maybe even Kenya. But, you know, Nigeria has a lot of fraud, and Kenya has a lot of wars. And then we have Ghana that they're trying to say is the new leader. And that's coming out with a lot of tech. But it's basically like there actually is no leader. You know, and there's no leader that is doing things ethically and with technology advancement and with the foresight of really truly connecting with the black communities here. And then we have the black communities that a lot of us we can't, you know, make up a word right now. We have an African dissonance. Right? Yes. We have an African dissonance.
Speak on that.
I just made that up. 100%. Trademark. Instagram trademark.
African dissonance.
We have an African dissonance. I'm gonna write a white paper on that. And so
I heard it here first. She's writing a white paper on that.
Y'all heard it here first. I'm about to write it tonight probably. Oh, I'm writing it right now in my head, but let me focus while I'm here with y'all. And so it's like, wow. And that's what we need to solve. We need to some type of way. It almost needs to be like, you know what? It almost needs to be like virtual international mixers.
Yes, I like it. Because it'll make the ease of
we
access better.
I don't know how we would do that. Maybe
Well, let me know how I can help you with that.
Yeah, we can
Let me know. And
yeah.
Okay, let me know how I can help you with that. Because I'm really all about that. You know,
we got a screen. We got a room. They got a screen. They got a room. We could work that out.
She's really ideating right here in front of us. Okay. All right. Boom. So we're gonna wait for that white paper. Last question. Last audience question. Do you mentor? And if so, can you give a little information on what the process is or where you can apply? Do you even have time to mentor?
So I have a somewhat approach to mentorship. First of all, I gotta feel like you serious, and then there's different levels to it. Okay, you could be somebody I keep in touch with. You could be a mentee. You can be a volunteer. I have a volunteer in the audience right now, Miss Rami. She's been with us for almost, how long you been with us? Like a year? Almost a year.
So Rami was the first person that I talked to via email, trying to get you on months ago.
Are you serious?
And then that's how I met Ashley Dior. And now I've been talking with Bree.
Yes.
So this has been, I'm telling you, I've been trying for months to get you on this show. And
Wow.
I learned about you last year from that brother right there, Ryan Gordon. He told me, you got to get Angel Rich on the show. I was like, who's that? So, and that's when I hit you up on LinkedIn.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Rami. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So, so then you can be a volunteer. And Rami has a full-time job. You know, she does social media stuff with us. And then from there, I'll bring you in as an intern. And then if you come in as an intern, that's when I really kind of get to know you even more. Like, you're really kind of working with me on, not necessarily a day-to-day because I'll have somebody in between us, but I'm getting to understand what you can do, you know? And then from there, I'll bring you on as like either a junior role or some type of role that I feel as though you're best for from there. And then I'll promote you to manager, then promote you to VP. I don't really do director. For some reason, I go from manager to VP. So I don't know why I'm not really big on that in-between one. But so I've had a bunch of different people go through those.
Take those steps.
Yeah, go through those various different steps. And I'm also not big, how do I say this? I don't demand for people to stay with me after a year. You are free to leave my company at any time. And it's actually a mutual benefit for me and my employees. Because, number one, if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here.
Right.
Number two, my goal is to train people up and give them better skills than they came with. And most time, that then means that they have another opportunity to go over and go off somewhere. I even had a guy be able to propose to his girlfriend after working for me for 3 months, because then he got a job opportunity from Cisco and was able to like go off and do that and propose to his girlfriend. They got kids now and all type of stuff. But before me, he wasn't able to get a job. I recruited him out of college at the Art Institute of Washington. And so I basically like to take people when they are when they're still kind of nascent a little bit. And the benefit to me is that I get fresh ideas all the time. And so because technology is constantly changing. So if I have kind of an employee base that is also changing and I'm not caring about traditional turnover, it's beneficial to me.
Right.
And so I think a lot of things about business and the metrics around business is changing. And I think for your individual business, you have to decide what's best for you and not go with what somebody's trying to tell you is best for you or what traditionally has been done. Because it works for us. It works for us. And I, for the most part, I have good relationships with people. Now, sometimes I got to just let people go or it's not, a good situation. But we've only really had about 3 or 4 of those. Okay. And I've had a good 200 employees.
Wow.
Over 5 years.
Okay.
And the other 196 are doing very well in their respective fields and was able to put something on their resume as a result of working for me. And it provides me with a little lower cost of labor because they're not able to find jobs other places. And I'm able to find highly skilled people that can't find jobs in other places. I employ them. They can put something on their resume and go off and work somewhere else.
Angel Rich out here contributing to people's success.
And that's not even like something we even talk about a lot. But, small business really contributes to job growth.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
And people forget about that a lot of times.
All the time.
Which is another reason I should have a free office in here. I'm just talking.
Well, we got this on
wax. Somebody listening.
We got this on wax. We got this on wax. They gonna come look us up. All right, boom. So we're about to do random asides, a random question segment. I don't ask anything too crazy. We already did one question. It's 30 questions. We already asked one. The first one was, what's the flyest thing you ever done? So we're going to burn through this real quick. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the name of the first person you kissed? You done forgot him.
I want to say Amos. That was the first name that came to my mind, but I don't want to give that Negro the credit. Don't nobody tell him I said that.
You just did. All right. So we're going to leave that one question mark. Okay. Describe.
That's a good question, though. You don't really. That has to be the answer, though. Okay, but go ahead.
Okay. Describe life of Kanye West as president. And I've been asking this question even before he went on his Twitter debacle rant thing. So the answers have definitely changed over the
I was
months.
at Tiana Taylor's release party, and it was extremely dope. Shout out to Tiana Taylor.
Okay.
I think it would be a very interesting world.
Okay.
This one I have to be a little PC
a little
on.
Diplomatic.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I understand. I understand. You've kept it sober with us. Otherwise,
Yes.
This is good. This is good. All right. Name one thing you changed about yourself.
I really need to get some Invisalign.
Okay.
Yeah. I had braces for 6 years. I did not wear my retainer, and my teeth deeply bother me.
Okay.
Yes.
If you had to go on a 30-day culture fast, which of these could you give up? Travel, art, fashion, being a foodie, or leisure reading?
Foodie.
Foodie?
Because I would lose weight. That's a benefit.
You just had a shitty day. What's your comfort food or vice of choice?
Moscato, because I actually had a shitty day.
Well, I hope being here has made it a little better.
It has totally brightened my day.
Okay.
Totally brightened my day. But I don't know. I had a rough 2 hour. I shouldn't even say a day. I had a rough 2 hour patch.
Okay. So the early evening got off to a rough start.
The early evening was rough.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, it was.
All right. What invention or innovation will officially mark the end of the world?
You know what I said?
What?
When they put a tech incubator on 8th Street. I was thinking about that in the bathroom. I swear I said that 5 years ago.
All right.
I was like, when that happens, it's a new world.
Do you believe the producers of Family Feud secretly want to start a race war?
You know, that's a deep question right there. If you really think about it, if you really pay attention to the questions.
So check this out.
Because
I was in Trinidad. My father, his whole family, they're all from Trinidad. So I was down there with them during Carnival. I'm watching Family Feud with them with my younger cousins, and I'm watching. I'm like, wait a second, because it's always the black family against the white family. I'm not blaming Steve Harvey. I'm blaming the producers. I'm like, I don't know.
I swear, I've been working on an algorithm for that, right? And so I've really been trying to figure out, because this is, I promise you, I really do this in my spare. This is what I do in my spare time.
Okay.
I be trying to like analyze what's the ratio of how many episodes of that season had a black family and a white family, as opposed to 2 white families and 2 black families. And then I'd be looking at how cool Steve Harvey actually be with the black families, and I'd be trying to figure out, like, Steve Harvey, do you know these black families? You know, and then he'd be like, he always want the black family to win, right? So then I'd be like, okay, maybe he be in the board meeting like, nope, we've had he got a quota of how many families can be 2 white families. Black. You know what I'm saying? So Steve Harvey be like, no more than 30% of the families can be all white on the episodes. So like 50% need to be black and white.
Yeah.
And another like 25% or 30% need to be all black, and then like 30% could be like white against white. I swear I've been like working on this in my head.
Oh man. Okay.
But I'm not crazy. You know, that's just in my spare time.
That's just pick a superhero.
Black Panther.
How will the country change once marijuana is fully legalized?
Everybody would be high. I think that everybody would get along better. You know, I really do. Because I think a lot of times people spend you know, you really do relax more after you smoke, and you really do just be like, whatever, you don't care as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something personal. My grandfather asked me for some weed before he died, and I was like, I don't know what you talking about. I was 18 at the time.
He knew you had it.
He knew I had it. And my mother had sent him to live with me because I moved out when I was 18. So to punish me, my mother sent my grandfather to live with me. And so he was staying with me, and I was smoking in my bedroom out of respect, even though it was my house or whatever. And one day he asked me for some weed. He was in chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking OxyContin, like 3 or 4 OxyContin a day, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And the doctor said his lungs was like cheese, like he could barely breathe. And so he asked me for some weed one day, and I told him no. And I think about this often, because if I had just gave him, I often wonder if I had gave him that weed, would he still be alive? Because he wouldn't have had to be so reliant on the pills, and it would have eased his pain.
But we didn't know what we know now about weed.
Exactly. And I didn't. Then. I knew it was like, and my mother had bought something for me. That's a whole nother funny story, when my mother getting caught with weed by the police buying it from my grandfather. And so that was hilarious. But back then that was serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my mother had bought it and put it in his food, but she didn't do it right. Because you know, weed got to be burnt. And so it just made him sick.
You got to get the
what I'm
oil
saying?
and all
so
of
he
that.
wanted to smoke it. And I don't know, but I think about that a lot. I think people would live longer.
How old were you when you realized Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy weren't real?
Santa Claus, I actually wonder about that a lot, because I don't really know when I stopped believing in Santa Claus. I remember the last time I did believe in Santa Claus. It was when I was 6 years old, and my mother had my uncle come to our house in a Santa Claus outfit, and me and my sister really thought it was Santa Claus because he went upstairs and everything. And so, but maybe 7, because after that, I don't really have a memory of me, like, appreciating Santa.
Okay.
Now, the Tooth Fairy, that was my nigga, because I had money. So the Tooth Fairy, that was my nigga all the way until all teeth were gone.
Right.
Okay. So my mother has a letter of me at 11 years old because I had accidentally threw my tooth in the trash in the 5th grade. At lunch, and I wrote a letter to my mother. I was like, "Dear Tooth Fairy, I lost a tooth today. However, I accidentally threw it in the trash. Can I please still have my $10?
Right. I just need you to believe me."
Technically, no. The letter is so cute because then I had lost another tooth by later that day, and it said, "So I technically lost 2 teeth, although there was only 1 tooth underneath the pillow. So you technically owe me $20. Can I please have the $20 for both the teeth that I'm missing?" And my mother saved the letter. It's in a scrapbook.
Wow. Name 3 places in your city to take a first-time visitor.
Horse and Dickies.
Which one?
There's only one. I don't even know where the other location at. I ain't never been to the other location.
There's two more.
I could care less about whatever the second location is. And so, and then if they're with me, I'm going to take you to my happy place, which is the playground at the end of 21st Street. That is now the soccer field where they practice at by RFK. That's my playground right there. And then I used to would have took somebody to Haynes Point, but they didn't move that over.
They didn't move the Awakening to National Harbor, and it's not the same no more.
So where would I take somebody now? Maybe Bliss? I don't even know. Like U Street?
Bliss?
DC is so different. DC is so different now. You know, maybe Condon Terrace, show them what it used to be like. I don't know.
Take them to Condon Terrace.
I do that to people.
Oh,
I
man.
do that to people. If you come with me, you go on to Condon Terrace on your visit.
All right. If you were diagnosed with a rare disease and told the only way to live was to exercise 5 days a week, how long would you last?
I would live.
You live? You be out here 5 days a week.
Yeah, I actually had a similar. Yeah, I've diabetes runs in my family, and I lost 100 pounds because everybody in my family gets diagnosed with diabetes by the time they're 23, and so when I was like 21, I was like, not today. Okay. And
just was out there, sweating it out. All right, rooftop barbecue or backyard barbecue?
Rooftop.
Describe your first
Hold up, what are we talking about though? Like, which Angel Rich is at the barbecue?
You tell me.
Like,
you tell me which Angel Rich you bringing.
It depends on which Angel Rich is there. Okay.
Angel Rich from around the way.
So we call her AJ.
AJ. Okay.
That's a backyard barbecue.
Okay.
Now then the other one we call her Lovely.
Okay.
You catch her at the rooftop.
Got it.
Angel is the nerd.
Okay. Describe your first air travel experience.
Vegas. 1998. My mother took us to Vegas. She was life insurance salesman of the year. And that was a very amazing trip. And me and my sister, I was 11 in 5th grade. My sister was 9. My mother gave us $100 every day, and she let us go on a Vegas trip by herself every single day.
Wow.
And me and my sister went into a 5-star restaurant and ordered separate checks. And that's a memory we both always remember because to us, that's when we became grown.
Word.
Yeah.
That's dope. What gives you power?
People.
Name the last amazing album you heard.
Tiana Taylor, actually.
That is a really good album.
It is.
And her
and hear it in person with Tiana Taylor.
And the album before the album before that one was really good too.
Yeah.
Name the best chicken spot anywhere.
Charlene Crafton's Kitchen.
Where's that?
My my childhood best friend mother.
Okay.
And Sea Pleasant. She definitely makes the best fried chicken on earth.
How has your upbringing informed your life choices, good and bad?
For the most part, good. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say is bad is sometimes I can be picky. Okay. We have a slight OCD in my family. Mm-hmm. Where sometimes we can be like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that even bothers me. Okay. And I be trying to move past it, but it's there and I can't, you know? Okay. Like I don't like corners and stuff. I don't clean bathrooms, you know? Got it.
Name the one best and one worst character trait of your generation.
Oh, I thought you was about to say of myself. I was about to say this about to get heavy. Of my generation. The one great trait is we're tenacious. Mm-hmm. The one bad trait is we expect everything.
Yes. Okay, you're gonna like this one. You're on an episode of Shark Tank. What are you pitching and wearing?
I'm pitching Credit Stacker,
Okay.
and I'm wearing a black Tech Modest t-shirt, some black jeans, and some black shoes,
Word.
and maybe a crown.
I like that. No one's ever done that on, as far as I know, on Shark. I
have
don't watch it. I don't watch it all the
I have a
time.
custom crown made that I got from the brother on in front of Georgetown that be twisting the stones and the copper wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a crown just sitting.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the event.
The right time.
Yeah.
Have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube? And if so, how many times did it take you to get it?
I've got very close.
Okay.
I've gotten 7.5 way there.
Okay. I think we've only had, 2 people say they solved the Rubik's Cube? Okay.
Yeah.
No limit or cash money.
No limit, and shout out to Master P. I just met him too.
Word. Have you ever suffered from FOMO, fear of missing out?
All the time.
You've been given a major award and you're being viewed by millions. Who are you shouting out in your award speech?
Probably I would say my mother, my sister, my family.
Okay.
Probably also Thomas Snyder. He's a mentor of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sits at the intersection of empathy and self-determination?
Pride.
Be rich where you are or live wherever you want on your current income?
What was that last one?
Be rich where you are or live wherever you want on your current income.
That was deep. I'm going to go with be rich where you are because, nigga, I'm in D.C. And this the nation's capital. It's the capital of the world. What better place to be rich at?
Haven't heard that answer before, but I like that. What was your craziest Uber or Lyft experience?
My crazy is what?
Uber or Lyft experience?
When I got in this ain't even crazy, but it's kind of crazy. I got in this Uber. It was 1 a.m. in the morning. This nigga that was in the Uber with me, he hops in. He was like, yeah, so I work for Fox 5 and Trump just bombed Syria and I'm headed to Fox News to report it. So you finding this out before it goes on the news. And I'm looking at him like, first of all, why are you telling me this?
Like that has to go against some kind of policy or something.
Like,
I could get you fired if I could just be like, tweet.
I literally could have hopped on Facebook at that moment and informed the world that Trump had I knew before the world knew.
Right.
Like the dude that was going to Fox to tell everybody was in the Uber with me.
Yes.
So it was like, that was an interesting Uber ride.
Right.
So I'm just asking him all the time. I'm like, no, I didn't know. How would I know?
All right, so you can use only one social media platform for the rest of your life. What is it?
Low key, Facebook.
Facebook. All right.
Although they dropped like 170, they went from 215 to 176 today. I'm bad at math. What is that? 24 plus 15. I'm lost. 39. What is that? Is that 39? Okay.
39.
See, I told y'all I'm bad at math. I should have been able to do that faster.
All right. Last question. What does living my best life mean to you?
Freedom.
Okay. We could put a period right there. So, Angel, thank you again. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. Hope everybody enjoyed this conversation. So that's a wrap. Again, if you are not familiar with the All the Fly Kids show prior to now, we are broadcasting live every Monday at 1 p.m. at fullserviceradio.org. You can also go to alltheflykids.com to catch any of our content, video recaps, all of that. Shout out to our creative media arm, Fairground. They just dropped Set Up Shop. It's a documentary covering creative entrepreneurs. You may or may not know, but the content is amazing. We just did one with Doyle Song. With why am I forgetting all this stuff? He's gonna kill me. Enemies Forever. If y'all know Enemies Forever, he's the founder, creator of that. Check that out. So and you want to hear us, you can hear us on wherever podcasts are found. So that's that. Angel be signing books, selling books over there in that corner. We're gonna break it down, and that's that. So again, thank y'all for all coming out.
Yes, and follow me on Instagram, AngelRich27. Download Credit Stacker on Google Play and iOS in 60 countries under 21 languages. And get History of the Black Dollar. It's $25 over here for me to sign on Amazon.com.
Cool. All right.
Thank you.